Our next journey takes us right here to Rowlett, Texas, more specifically Eagle Drive, as you can see right behind me. It was down this road back in 1996 that a heinous act took place. That's the home of Darlie Routier, where she murdered her 2 young sons on the night of June the 6th. So we're going to go down there and take a look. So you guys come follow us.
What is your emergency? Ma'am? What? Who did? Hang on. Hang on, ma'am. I'm a medical emergency. 681 Eagle Drive. Ma'am, I'm trying to get an ambulance to you. Hang on a minute. What's going on, ma'am? Oh, my God! Medical emergency 580 South Street, Linda, Vista, and Willowbrook. Attention 901 medical emergency. Maybe possible stabbing 5801 Eagle Drive, box 238 South Street, Linda, Vista, and Willowbrook. Come out 232. Stand by, car check. Hey. Oh my God. EMS 44601 Eagle Drive, 5801 Eagle Drive. The circle people on the phone. Hold on. The child has been stabbed. Ma'am, I need you to calm down and talk to me. What? 5801 Eagle. Ma'am, listen to me. I need you to. Oh my God. Can you take the radio clip? Ma'am, I need you to talk to me. Ma'am, I can't understand you. You're going to have to slow down, calm down, and talk to me. What is going on? Somebody's keeping the walls. Sleeping here. My little boys are sleeping downstairs. Dad, baby. Dad, look up. I was crazy. We ran out to the garage. Very nice there. My boys are dying. They're dead. Oh, my God. How many little boys? Is it 2 boys? Okay, listen to me. Calm down. Go ahead. 5801 Eagle Drive. 5801 Eagle Drive. It's going to be a stabbing. When are they going to be here? Ma'am, they're on their way. Oh, my God. Ma'am, how old are your boys? What? How old are your boys? No. Okay. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Calm down, can you? Oh, my God. Is your name Darlie? Your husband's name Darren? Yes, please. They're taking forever. There's nobody in your head. You don't know who this is?
You just heard the 911 call. That call was placed on June 6, 1996, 2:31 a.m. You know, as we drive into this neighborhood, it's really nice, very nice homes, as you could probably see in the background. Real quiet neighborhood, a little upper class, I would say. Yeah, it's nice, but Right over to my left is the house, 5801 Eagle Drive, where those murders happened. Darlie Routier was convicted of murdering her two sons, Damon and Devon. Damon at the time was 5 years old, and Devon was 6. But yeah, that's the house right there. In the early morning hours of June 6, 1996, young Damon and Devon were stabbed to death with a large kitchen knife that was in the Routier home. Darlie herself, she sustained knife wounds to her throat and arm. Routier then told the police that she had fallen asleep on the couch with her two boys while watching television, only to wake up later and discover an unknown man in this home. She stated that she approached him. The man then fled, dropping the kitchen knife in a utility room as he ran off. After picking up the knife and chasing him away, Darlie said she realized that her children had been wounded, and that's when she called 911. At the time, though, police did find it highly suspicious that Routier and her sons had been severely wounded by an armed intruder without waking her until after the attack had occurred. So the Routiers actually had 3 boys. They had a younger son, Drake, who was only 7 months old at the time. He was actually asleep upstairs with her husband Darren at the time of the murders, and those two were actually unharmed. Now, what happened was Darlie ended up telling the police that the assailant escaped out through the garage, and then investigators said that the garage contained no blood drops, and added there were no indications that no one had run through there at all. The only thing that was staged in this, there was a cut in the screen in one of the windows out back by the garage to look like someone came in that way. But other than that, there was dust on the windowsills, around the door area. All that was untouched. So the cops basically they weren't buying into this, and there were no blood drops. What else? The cops also found interesting in Darlie's story that the mulch and the flower bed around the window, those were also undisturbed. So, but the one thing that they did find was an unknown fingerprint, and that was found on the windowsill. And the fingerprint did not belong to anyone in the family. So we're walking down the sidewalk here. This is the side of the Routier house to my left. But right back here is the alleyway. Now, the reason I bring up the alleyway, that a bloody sock was found down this alleyway about 75 yards away from the house, and then lab tests revealed that that bloody sock did have blood from both Damon and Devon on it, the 2 little boys who were murdered. It was right down this alleyway here. I'm not sure exactly where it was found specifically. I've read a few reports online. Didn't get really a precise location, but here's the back of the Routier house. There's the truck right there, and that's the garage where Darlie said she chased the assailant out of, right there. So during the trial, the prosecution did argue that Darlie Routier's injuries were self-inflicted and the crime scene had been staged, and that she was the one who actually murdered her sons. And the reason they came up with the reasoning behind the 2 murders for her boys is that the Routiers were in financial difficulties. The defense argued that there was no reason Routier would have killed her children, that the case did not have a motive, a confession, or any other witnesses. So that was the argument. But in February '97, the jury did find Darlie guilty of the murder of Damon and sentenced her to death by lethal injection. She's actually still on death row today. So yeah, she still sits there today, maintaining her innocence. Watched a few news reports online the other day that she still claims her innocence in this, and she had nothing to do with it. But regardless, 2 little boys were murdered here in this house. They won't be growing up, having a life, getting married, having their own kids. None of that. It was all taken away at 5801 Eagle Drive at the early morning hours of June 6th, 1996. So we've made our way about 3.5 miles or so east of the Routier house in Rowlett. We're now in Rockwall, Texas. This is the Rest Haven Cemetery. This is the final resting place of Damon at Devon. It's from the outside. It's beautiful grounds. So we're going to go inside and find their graves and show you guys as well. So we have located the graves of the two little ones. There's our car right there. Right over to the right, right behind that big bush and under that tree. Gonna make our way over there. So just FYI, back in 2011, Darlie's husband, Darren, he actually did file for divorce from his wife, saying that the decision was mutual, but yet very difficult. Now he still believes his wife is innocent as well. He also said they decided to divorce in order to end the limbo that they had been in since her arrest and conviction back in '96. But here's the way to Damon and Devon Routier's marker. You can probably tell which one it is. It's right here. They are side by side, and people come here and leave little toys. There's a wiffle ball, fresh flowers. I don't know, maybe the dad comes out here still, I think. It's from what I've read online. There's Damon right there. And right to the right is his brother Devon. And it says right there, Routier, Devon and Damon holding hands through life and into heaven. Now they are angels playing together. So sad. Like I said, Danny's such young boys, never had a chance at all.
Only way that we'll be ever convinced that she had anything to do with this is if she was to look directly at us and confess that, yeah, she did. That's really the only way.
But even without that confession, Rowlett police say they're convinced that 5-year-old Damon and 6-year-old Devon Routier were stabbed to death by their mother, Darlie. She told police a stranger attacked her family. Authorities say evidence, like the 911 call she placed, do not support that. Now, regarding a lack of strange fingerprints on the alleged murder weapon, the arrest warrant states that the 911 dispatcher told Darlie, "Do not touch anything," referring to the knife. Darlie replied, "I already touched it and picked it up." 5 minutes into the call, she said, "I wonder if we could have gotten the prints, maybe." Within the small community of Rowlett, some people say they became suspicious last Friday when Darlie held a graveside birthday party on what would have been Devon's 7th birthday. But friends say there is no need for suspicion.
To me, that was just part of their way of life. It's kind of like a wake, a celebration that, yeah, we know that the boys are in heaven. And
during the gathering, Darlie tried her best to explain.
And if you knew Devon and Damon, you would know that they're up in heaven, and they're up there having the biggest birthday party that we could ever imagine. And they wouldn't want us to be down here being sad. Even though our hearts are breaking, I know that Devon and Damon would want us to be happy.
Now you saw in the video, I included a video here of this grave site. You're going to see Darlie and her family members holding a birthday party at the boy's grave to posthumously celebrate Devon's 7th birthday, which was only 8 days after he was murdered. She was shown smiling and laughing as she sprayed silly strings on the grave in celebration and singing happy birthday. Family members did point out that the newscast did not show an earlier video that depicted a solemn ceremony honoring the children. So, again, who knows? I mean, people act differently. You never know how you're going to act until something tragic like this happens. But 4 days after that video was captured, it's on June 18th, that's when Darlie was arrested and charged with capital murder for these two young boys right here. Rest in peace. So very sad. Very, very, very sad. All right, folks, that about does it right here from Rest Haven Cemetery and Gardens, right here in Rockwall, Texas. Hopefully this video enlightened you a little bit on this whole case if you didn't know too much about it. I learned some new stuff as well when I was researching the whole thing. It's just very sad all around. I mean, just tragic. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. And we'll see you again in the next video.